Hi, welcome back to my channel, and this episode is episode number 4, and it covers the tool Edgeful, which I use to help take emotions and irrational decision making out of the process that I'm using to become a funded trader. I'm doing a 5 account funded trader challenge on Take Profit Trader right now. If you look at the playlist, there is episode 1 through 3, which outlines my journey, my goal, and we'll be documenting that on this playlist and this channel. So without further ado, we're using Edgeful, as you can see on the screen, for the tool, but we're going to go into my charting platform for a moment, which is Quantower, and we're going to take a look at the situation. Now, I jumped in a trade, so we just made all-time highs in S&P, and I'm taking a trade. First thing, I look on the DOM and I don't see a lot of any more orders or high level of orders, limit sell orders at the top. Price could continue up. I'm willing to take 5 points or so to see if I can catch a move all the way back down to the initial balance. So that's the goal. We may consolidate here for a while and we may move back up, but based on my statistics and the things that I looked at in Edgeful, I'm anticipating a retracement back into this initial balance. Now I have some VWAPs, some anchored VWAPs at different areas annotated. I'm using the DOM, the surface, to kind of visually see the orders. And I'm also looking at Bookmap, where you can see we're kind of in a range right now. And there's a sell wall at the top, which is protecting my stop. And there's also a lot of buying interest down at the bottom here. So that's kind of the levels of interest at the moment. Let me go into Bookmap here. So just looking at Bookmap, we're looking at about the 420 level, right? That may be an area of interest. And 417. It looks like the book is pretty empty below that. So it's pretty bullish in this case. So I might get out of this looking for a quick short scalp down to about 620. But I wanted to take you through Edgeful so that you can get, I'm thinking, right? I'm looking at this data, but I want to see historically what has happened uh, based on the initial balance of the New York session on a Friday. So we're going to go back into Edgeful now, and we'll kind of step through this. So we can run different reports on futures, stocks, crypto. We can pick tickers. There's a watch list. There's also other screeners and tools that I'll get into more detail in additional videos. But for now, just know that we're going to do an initial balance report, a breakout report, and we're looking at the first hour. If I go back to my chart, wrong screen. If I go back to my chart, you're going to see I outlined in this rectangle this initial balance. It's an hour initial balance and extended it out. So we just bounced off of these highs. I entered at the top of the all-time high range, and we are now consolidating up here. But based on what I saw in Edgeful, I made a decision to take a 5-point risk to retrace all the way back down to this initial balance. So returning to Edgeful, let's kind of play this out now. So 66% of the time there's a single break of the initial balance, and we can see that. But what if we want to look at specific days? Now we're looking at a 1-hour initial balance. If it wicks on either end, that creates the initial balance during that 1 hour, and we're doing our trading generally based on the 5-minute candle. You could change all of that. Today, those are our settings. And then I can go into a sub report by weekday, which is cool because now I can select Fridays. So 62% of the time, there's a single break to the upside on Fridays. 4 out of the 5 last days. All of the stats are here for you. Again, we'll get into more details in another video. This is just to really show you an overview of the tool itself. And again, you want to make sure all your settings are the same under the customize option. So now what about by retracement? So obviously when price breaks out, it has a likelihood of retracing. So as we can see, the initial balance breakout, it hasn't retraced yet. It says no, 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 but we do know that it did break out, especially like today on a Friday. So we want to make sure the settings are the same again. An hour, candle but 5 minutes by Friday. And we set these retracement levels to just take a look and make sure the weekdays to use are Fridays. Now Saturdays there is no trading, maybe in crypto, but not for futures. So disregard that. It's not going to put that into the report. We're going to retrace generally 30% of the initial balance, 66% of the time. So a third of the time, to 50% a third of the time, to 62%, 33% of the time. So I also ran it on 60%. Let's just change that number so that you can see. We can filter out and use different retracement levels. And notice that I retraced to 60%, 50% of the time. So I'm expecting us to retrace at least to 50% and likely down to 60% of the initial balance at some point today. So that is how I use the reports to make this decision to get into this short, going back down to the initial balance after the breakout to the upside. So going back to our charts once again, we are in a little bit of a consolidation at the moment. Some levels are building to the upside at 62.25 or 64.25, so we have our stop above that zone. We could definitely hit it, right? If we go into Bookmap, we can see the levels on Bookmap as well. 62.25, so my stop is protected behind that 62.25 level at 62.26. Give me a little bit of room. Entered at 64.22 and 64.21.50. So it's about 5 points of risk, and we're looking to take it all the way back down to at least 50%, which is right here of the initial balance. So will that happen? We don't know, but based off our statistical analysis, we are again looking to retrace back into the initial balance after breaking it, which happens 62% of the time. And I'm willing to take on that risk. Right, we're still pretty bullish though, and the trade may fail. But the thing is I'm not emotional about it. Whatever happens, happens, and my risk is managed using smart decision making, visual order flow, Edgeful reports, and strong technical analysis. So I hope you found this video interesting. And if you want to check out Edgeful, it's at edgeful.com. And there's a link down in the description of the video. I am not an affiliate. I am a paying subscriber. And hopefully this trade works out for us today. If not, no big deal, right? The best loser wins. So please put a thumbs up on the video if you can, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on this journey. Look forward to providing more content. If you're on a similar journey, let me know as well. Peace out till the next time, guys and gals.